everyone. Today we have our another new conference. This is our third conference from Innovative Academic Research Publishers from France. We have our focus discussion on smart marketing and consumer behavior in the digital economy. We have Colin from USA, Fred from USA, Delphi from USA. We have Dr. Bhavin from India, Madam Srini from Malaysia. We have our keynote speaker, Mr. Rob Enderle from USA. We have Mr. David Smith from USA, from IBM. He's the CTO of IBM. And we have Jiri. So first, I would like to give chance Mr. Rob Enderle for as a keynote speaker.
Good morning. I want to start with a story my grandfather told me about the CEO of Wrigley. When William Wrigley Jr. was asked why he kept spending millions on ads when he was already the market leader, he pointed to the steam engine that was pulling the train that they were both on and asked, why doesn't the engineer just stop shoveling coal into the engine and let the train coast on its own? Marketing is the coal. It's the fuel that builds and maintains your sales momentum. The biggest mistake I see in the C-suite is the coasting fallacy, the belief that once you're successful, you can cut the marketing budget to save money. You know, I spoke to Andy Grove at Intel about that because it was at Intel, and he was a big believer in not cutting out of a problem. Yet I see this happen often. In fact, my first class in business merchandising, the professor said that Business 101 is you never cut marketing when there's a depression or a sales problem, because that just exacerbates the problem. Anyway, by the time the train slows down, the fire's out. It takes 10 times the energy to restart a cold engine than it does to keep it fueled. Today, we're going to talk about how to keep that fire burning. Perception is the only reality. You know, in a lot of talks, I've mentioned this, that perception is reality, and it amazes me how many folks just don't get that, particularly engineers. So let's define our terms. Most people confuse sales and marketing. Sales is focused manipulation. It's a sniper rifle aimed at a single target to get a yes. But marketing is manipulation at scale. It's the artillery. When marketing is done right, think Windows 95 launch or IBM shift to total solutions, it changes the truth for an entire demographic. If your marketing is effective, the salesperson's job is nearly entirely done before they even walk into the room. You aren't just selling a product, you're managing the perception of reality across a population. Build for success, marketing is the DNA. The fatal flaw in most companies is treating marketing as a coat of paint applied at the end. Steve Jobs taught us the opposite, integrated design. At Apple, marketing defined what the box should be before the engineers even started. If you design a product to sell, it will sell more easily. And if you design a product to market, your marketing can be done far more effectively and cheaply. The iPhone succeeded because it was designed to be inherently marketable. It solved an emotional hurdle, fear of complexity. Well, you remember the BlackBerry? Before it ever solved a technical problem. Look at Tesla. Ludicrous mode is just a spec. Ludicrous mode isn't just a spec. It's a marketing hook built into the drivetrain. If your product isn't designed to be its own best advertisement, you're playing at a disadvantage. And this is the thing that really annoys me. The Dunning-Kruger deadlock. Now, if you understand what Dunning-Kruger is, that basically means the stupidest person in the room is the one that's making the most decisions. It's really the less you know, the more you think you know. And what's kind of funny is for a lot of people, once they become experts, they actually become more concerned about decisions as opposed to less, but that's aside. Now let's talk about why marketing departments are so often underfunded and understaffed. It's the Dunning-Kruger effect, which, as they say, drives me nuts. Because every executive watches TV and uses social media, they all think they're experts. A CFO wouldn't dream of telling an engineer how to design a chip, yet they'll happily tell a CMO how to run a campaign. This expertise paradox leads to common sense strategies that ignore the actual science of behavioral psychology. If you want to win, you have to stop starving your experts and start trusting the data over the loudest voice in the boardroom. The post-mass media pivot. The traditional megaphone is broken. I don't envy people that are CMOs today. Linear TV is dying and the mass market approach of the 90s is over. Successful companies are moving towards own media and influencer ecosystems. But the real revolution is generative AI. We're moving from broad demographics to the segment of one. AI allows you to micro-target like you're using a surgical laser, enabling the creation of thousands of personalized variations of a message in real time. It predicts competitive displacement before it happens and automates loyalty. If you aren't using AI to hold on to your customers, you're essentially trying to fuel a modern jet with 19th century coal. It takes me back to when I was at IBM, and IBM at the time was one of the most ethical companies in the market. And I remember going in front of my director. I was in marketing for a time there. I did a lot of things at IBM, and I was concerned because we had just told the country of France that they shouldn't buy a competitive product because our coming product was better. Yet I knew we pulled funding on that product, and it was never going to come to market. And I had a deep desire not to end up in some government jail because lying to a government can be kind of painful. And he looked at me and he said, "Rob, you just don't understand marketing." And I said, "Excuse me, I have several degrees in it." And he said, "Well, marketing is effectively lying. With marketing, you can tell the customer whatever you want to tell, and you don't get into trouble for it." And I swear to God, I looked at the guy and I thought he'd grown a second head. This was IBM, a company with heavy ethics. And he was arguing to me that not only should you lie to customers, that was the way you did marketing. And that is not the way you do marketing. I left the company shortly thereafter. And right after I left, he was fired, as was his boss, largely because of that particular belief. Slide 6. Let's see, make sure I know where I am. Yes. Okay. So in conclusion, own the narrative or be owned. In conclusion, your survival depends on 3 pillars. First, integrate marketing into your R&D from day one. That Steve Jobs message has always stuck with me. The idea that you can actually design marketing into a product. In effect, when he was running Apple, he was kind of their entire demographic. He wouldn't allow them to build something he didn't know he could sell. And as a result, he was motivated to sell it. Yet so often I watch marketing organizations, they're brought in at the end. Well, I've got another story, but we'll get to that in a minute. They're brought into at the end, and they don't know what to do with the product because they weren't there at the beginning. They weren't there for the justification. Now they're asked to market it. And I'll tell you a story. When I was at IBM, I had a guy walk into my office and he sat down and he talked about a product and said, "You need to develop a marketing plan for this." And I'm thinking, he's not my boss. What's he telling me? Anyway, so I said, "Okay, fine. Let's start off with who's the customer." And he looked at me and said, "Well, if you need to know that to do your job, but I guess you better find that out, shouldn't you?" They'd actually developed a product, spent $20 million on the product, and they had no idea who the customer was for the product. So I said, "No, I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole." One of my peers got it. She did a $20,000 study, and guess what she found out? There was no customer for this product. We spent $20 million on a product that had no customer. Pretty amazing. Anyway, second, hire true experts and protect them from the Dunning-Kruger trap. And third, embrace AI for hyper-personalization. In a world of infinite noise, the only way to survive is to be the signal. Don't just sell a product, build an engine of belief. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rob, for your excellent presentations. I request all of our speakers, please open your camera as it's heavily promoting in the media through definitely Good News is one of our partners, through Pod TVs and all of the social media. Mr. Akmal, if you open your camera, that will be fine. Otherwise, we have other speakers. We need to invite them. Thank you. Thank you for your excellent presentation. I'm sorry, there are more speakers. They want to join today's session, so I have to go for the question and answer and all other things. Madam Colin, how has the digital economy transformed traditional marketing strategy, and what makes marketing smart in today's context? What's your thought?
Well, about a year ago, I did a community discussion for SingularityNet regarding intelligence, which involved a lot of research. And one thing I discovered was the Web 2, or whatever you wanted to call that paradigm, was really based upon how many shoes that we could make of one style. Well, now we're able to make millions of different kind of shoes. So yeah, the personalization is huge. Micrometrics like eye position are amazing to be able to show where someone is looking when they're viewing your ad. So it's gotten very exciting, I believe, and yeah, we're really headed into some creative spots here.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Fred. What's your thoughts about this question?
I think that the ability to target, like Rob said, is much more enhanced in today's economy than it was in the past. But you have to have something to target them with. You have to have a product that they want. So you're allowed to do feasibility studies among those people who might be interested in your product and be able to reach those that you wouldn't necessarily have done before.
Thank you, Delphi.
Hi, can you repeat the question? Just make sure that I address it.
Yeah, we are discussing how has the digital economy transformed traditional marketing strategies and what makes marketing smart in this context.
So, one of the things that I think marketing is like there is no other way to do it is if we want to begin to move the collective conversation, right? Knowledge at a populist level. I think then the gentleman who was just speaking, I think I'll probably piggyback off of him. It deeply about if we want to move to products that actually serve us at a societal level, marketing is the only way to drive the narrative to allow a population to begin to understand and assimilate like that sort of product. And I think that AI presents, I think of it as a translation layer. No, never before in history have we had the
Cannot
ability
hear.
to.
Maybe unmute.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hello?
we can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Akmal, I'm sorry about that. Mr. Akmal, we can hear her, but so
I cannot. I don't know
can
the
you
problem.
leave the studio because maybe you have a connection problem.
Okay, I'm rejoining. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Yes, Delphi, I'm sorry about that. Okay.
Well, that's okay. And I just think that artificial intelligence, the way that we are using it now, the new era that's come in is essentially it acting as a translation layer between the individual and whatever we are marketing. But I think that puts the onus on the marketer to educate the populace via the AI, and it's individualized. So I think that's probably one of the biggest changes.
Yeah, thank you. Madam Srini, you want to add any point from Malaysia, from your experience from Skill College?
You're muted.
Oh, hi. Sorry, I repeat. The way I see the transformation of the old type of marketing to the one that we have in current phase is the older one is one way. You view the advertisement and then you keep seeing it, and then if that fits your need, then you go for it. But the way we are doing marketing now with the social media, AI intervention, and everything, it allows a two-way communication. So it's fantastic. People can provide their review, and another user can see whether this product the product may be claimed it's good, but whether it is another user's experience, whether it's similar or not. So it's one of the fantastic thing. That's one of my opinion.
Thank you, Mr. David Smith. My next question, how has the digital economy transformed traditional marketing strategy, and what makes marketing smart in today's context? Everyone wants to learn about marketing and how they can improve.
Well, Dr. Sharif, you're correct that the digital economy, with the breakdown of the tremendous differences between regions, the breakdown of differences between ecosystems and things, has pushed marketing really quite a bit beyond its old playbook of how to do mass marketing, how to do linear funnels. And as Rob said in his opening remarks, how to kind of look at different ways to do intuition-driven decisions. So what we're seeing is a totally different way of how brands have to reshape how they get people's attention, how they build trust, how they create value. Because unlike the past, with particularly Rob's first example, customers today now move very fluidly across platforms, across regions, across even totally different business ecosystems. And they're increasingly expect more personalization, and they're getting much more used to interacting with AI mediated information environments. So in the past, a lot of marketing was about broadcasting in essence. And today it's no longer that. So, what we see is I think four major ways that the digital economy is really transforming the traditional marketing. One of it is discovery has moved from searching to AI-driven answer engines. And we begin to see this going. And we can get down to the details on that, but the big one is the shift is known from answer engine optimization, which looks at how AI is using to structure what's given you about. The second one really is AI has become foundational. It's no longer option as you begin to look through them. And this next one, I think, is probably the biggest shift that I've seen in my lifetime in marketing. Is marketing strategy in particular has become data-driven. And it's using that data to become adaptive. And it's using that data to become personalized. And it's using these in a way that's so interesting because the digital economy, the growth of the age of data, the growth of the age of AI, and the growth of everything becoming digital has enabled real-time behavioral insights. We now can do modeling. We now can do digital twins. And we now can use algorithms in a way to optimize what we're doing in our marketing strategy, not going back and sitting down on paper, presenting a new plan and going, but we can actually go back and change our marketing strategy in real time. So you begin to see it in a totally different way. And in the past, the marketing had 4 Ps. And they were product, price, place, and promotion. But now those 4 Ps operate in a dynamic technology-mediated environment where we're using all the things to do smart marketing that is adaptive and context aware. And that really brings it together to let us create a whole new vision of what marketing can be. So Dr. Sharif, thank you.
Thank you. Jiri, what you want to discuss about marketing strategy?
Yes, Sharif, I would like to ask you something very quickly. I have prepared a short presentation about human approach to leadership in the era of AI. It's a 5 minutes presentation. Should I present or some other?
Yeah, sure. If it's 5 minutes, I want to give you time.
Yes, I will be even briefer. So I will try to share my whole screen. And I would be happy if you write me, this is for everybody, if you write me your views on this into the chat, if what you think about these points. So
I'm requesting everyone do not use the chat. It creates some distractions. We want to be very focused.
Okay, let's be focused on this. Okay,
Thank you.
But I would like to create after this a short discussion about this presentation. If you
later. No,
okay.
later. Networking later, after the show. Yeah, thank you. I do not see your presentations. We have time limitations.
Yes, of course. But I am sharing now my presentation. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes, so this is about approach to leadership in the AI era, and my approach is very human. So this the first point is if my goals are clear, then I can easily achieve them. The second, where is order, there is not much left to do. The third point is a true leader never rushes things. Leadership helps others to achieve their own success. Wise leader notices what's going on. Wise leader serves others. Leader learns more by just being. True leader lets matters develop in a natural way. Helping what is happening, it's much more effective than trying to forcefully do something when we believe what should happen. Persuasive leadership is a matter of being able to be aware of what is going on in the group and to act accordingly. Wise leader prepares everything for a good job and then he lets others have their share. Good leadership is about motivating people to their highest degree by giving them opportunities, not responsibilities. And we are almost finished here. This is my last 3 points. The group needs a leader to guide and support it. Leader needs people to work with and deserve dedication. So what I want to say that I have created a community, international community, and I try to help each other in this world of AI. So I believe still the human approach to this between people is very important, even though we are using AI as our helper. So thank you very much for your attention. My name is Jiří Borč. Thank you.
Thank you. I request
now.
If you have your white paper or research paper, you can share your scientific paper with us.
Thank you,
Dr. Bhavin. You are academics, you are developing research and innovation centers, you do focus on industry academic relationship. What's your views about modern marketing strategy? And another important things, as India heavily investing in artificial intelligence, so and India has a huge population. So what's your views from India regarding this global AI industries, and you build the world largest consortium? How does it work? Professor Bhavin.
Was this question for me?
Yes, it's for you. Yes.
So let me share some quick facts. So today's conference is all about consumer behavior. If you'll see, it's all about, if we'll define consumer behavior, it's a scientific inquiry of how customer or consumer get engaged with the product and services. In India, now recently, we have concluded the third of its kind of conference, which was one of the largest in context of artificial intelligence, where two of our leading business groups, Ambani's, they committed, one has committed $100 billion investment, second one also committed $110 billion investments. So together, India is going to invest $210 billion in next 5 years for developing the infrastructure. Now, as you all can understand, that India is a country of 1.45 billion people. Now, consider when artificial intelligence reaches to nooks and corners of India, it will change the way people behave in India. If you can give me, probably we are in shortage of time, otherwise I could have shown you how India has changed in last 1 decade, and the change was so significant. Consumerism has increased like anything, purchasing power parity. If you'll see, people are consuming a lot, and we have evolved as a big consuming class in the world. India, no doubt, we consider China is a world supply chain. and logistic hub, while India is now also emerging as one of the hub for pharmaceuticals or services and ancient traditional medicines, food grains. It is a football for many of the products. So now artificial intelligence is penetrating, and voice based and AI tools, and which are translating the particular voices in different languages and in different contexts. They are emerging and they're getting sales like anything. One such company we all have accepted unanimously is Nvidia, and see the data packs of Nvidia are getting sold and labs are developed in even tier 3 towns of India. Now consider when the this revolution will happen. Now most of social media, we have now automations and chatbots. Now we all have learned that if you open Amazon, or if you want open any of the big online reseller or aggregator, then you'll find chatbots are evolving like anything, and they are retrieving the responses. Now smartly artificial intelligence do the analysis of the age group, the consuming class, income group, the qualifications, and n number of parameters which exist on Meta. And the way you see the ads on YouTube or Facebook or Meta, Instagram, or any other social media, now they're quite relevant to your preferences. So as if you'll see, we are talking, India is having a great parity of 100 crore people connected. We have 100 crore internet connections, and we have 100 crore smartphones, and we have 100 crore bank accounts. So these four things where they are getting together, and that's what the big revolutions of fintech in India. We had demonetization. We have demonetization, and probably in the year of demonetization, everyone has started using the QR code, and fintech revolution happened. So India currently is having four things together. We are also going to become a semiconductor chip hub when in India, in one of the state where I'm staying in Gujarat, 100 and probably more than 10 billions are going to be invested on semiconductor. So now we are sitting on all those four big revolutions where we can become the cheap hub. We are going to become the hub for smartphone. We are going to become the hub for larger consuming class and services. So in this smart technology and era, marketing tools are very important. But again, I want to say that marketing is marketing. My previous professor said, a gentleman said that product price place promotions. My guru, Dr. Philip Kotler, who is known as one of the world's largest marketing guru, world's biggest marketing guru. I'm disciple of Dr. Philip Kotler himself, and we jointly launched an incubation center in India in 2012, where we studied the ancient medicines of India and how we can have the probably access to the world in those contexts. So see, in nutshell, I want to say that marketing will not lose the impacts, and these approaches which are nowadays little bit mechanized, they can just give us the access of data, and probably this access of data, analysis of the data using the artificial intelligence, that's altogether a different thing. But the marketing genius is a different thing, which come, see, Kotler himself said, my 4 Ps are now obsolete. Product price promotion. Now segmenting, targeting, and positionings are working. STP are working. Now beyond STP, now today, marketing 1.0, marketing 2.0, and now we are witnessing marketing 3.0. So where consumer involvement and engagement, what we are talking, consumer behavior. So consumer behavior is all about scientific way how consumer is getting involved with particular product or services. So that has changed due to advent of AI. Now customer need or consumer need instant gratifications, instant notice. They make the decisions very fast. They pay, and because of the wallet economy, even and fintech revolutions, they are spending like anything. The speed of spending is increased, and because of that, I believe it's a term of economy, but propensity to consume has increased like anything in tier 2 and tier 3 towns of India and emerging countries or third world countries. Now people are spending like anything. So this give a big room, but marketing genius, branding, again, remain the core aspects. Brand will remain brand forever. They'll survive for say Coca-Cola, 1896 heritage, but still it is having its own momentum. It will not lose a charm. So brand is brand. If you build a strong brand, then probably it will serve the true purpose of marketing. No doubt this data, artificial intelligence will help you probably in deciphering data with the different contexts, age groups, incomes, and other things, and give you instant analytics that which kind of products is required by the consumer. But yes, marketer need to deliver it smartly in most profitable way. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. There are more audience. Actually, they are coming through different platforms. For today's session, they are really interested about the consumer market of India. India has a very big consumer market. So
India
if
is
you
a
share some
huge
of your
consumer
views-
market, believe me, as I said you, and this consumer market is now not deprived of mainstream media. We have tremendous fragmentations in media and marketing. We have more than 200 mainstream channels on television where people are viewing. We have all social media access. Even in the state like UP, where 21 crore 210 million people are residing in one state, where even in the farthest of village, people are getting the access of internet. So this fiber optics and internet has brought the revolution. And those people who are not knowing anything, who are not well literate, they are making the video of various products, they are uploading on YouTube, and YouTube become their source of revenue. So government has given them the separate tower and given them the high bandwidth. They are creating a content. So India has also emerged as a content creator, which we are talking consumer generated content, CGC. So this consumer generated in that also India will have the leapfrog, and we in time to come we are going to have a huge content creator from India who will create the content or not only entertainment, but now as we all foresee a chances of India hosting Olympics. We are hosting Commonwealth in 2029-30, but Olympics also in 2034. So these big events make India an epicenter of attraction for rest of the world, where maximum consuming class people are there. I sometimes when people make us afraid of various the threats from the war, Iran, Israel, whatever is going on, I say India will never have a recession because our 145 crore people, if they brush once, no recession will go down.
Excellent. Professor, so as you are discussing about consumer market with World Talent Economic Forum, with all of our experts and with your research center and innovation center, we want to build up a consortiums, and through our consortium, hopefully we can make a progress in South Asia, and with the help of Global North. Definitely we have our North American friend and ally from around the world, so everybody can work together in this ecosystem.
Global South is now new point of discussion in entire world. And as I said, we hosted the third of its kind 2024. It was UK, then it's France, and then 2026 India hosts the biggest artificial intelligence summit in India, where more than 100 countries participated. Their world leader participated and presented the things on artificial intelligence, and some 1.5 million visitors were there in 5 days. So Global South will be a next point of attraction.
Definitely, we want to build this North-South corridor, right? Global North and South Asia, North-South corridor. And through this North-South corridors, definitely we can make the economical, social, and business progress together. So I want to invite you all to join in this North-South corridor. This can be a great innovation from us. Paul, you are from media. Media is extremely important. What's your thoughts about consumer behavior, smart marketing, and so on?
Okay, well, thank you very much. A lot of wise people on this call, good marketers. Well, a couple thoughts I have. I got my 50+ years into media, mostly broadcasting, CBS, PBS, and multicultural marketing and advertising. And I would say that what helped to create our multicultural business was research. We placed a questionnaire directly in ethnic media here in America. As a result of that, some people consider we broke the Asian market here in America and other markets, and we represented a lot of the media. Why I'm saying that is because we took a questionnaire, it was syndicated research, and we placed it right into the media of the ethnic communities, multicultural communities. Now we have this thing called AI. Okay, so research is extremely important if the research is appropriate and it's not a waste of information, and that it's accurate for the objective that someone has decided is needed. and then thusly from the research, the data, someone needs to consider it and work it and figure out how to utilize it to the best ability. Now, what though possibly seems to be happening is that we don't need anybody to do almost all these things, and there's a good opportunity for corporations to fire most of their people, and it's a good opportunity for financial people to invest $100 million into somebody, because they're going to make what, 10-12% of that themselves. So this is all leading to opportunities, new opportunities, for either to get fired or to make a lot of money. So is AI a good thing? I personally, myself, marketing-wise, have maybe I'm old school, still go with my intuition, because there's no guarantee with marketing. There's no reality, or everybody would be successful, and that's not the situation. So I don't mean to be a downer, but I don't want anybody sending me a ChatGPT memo. I have no interest in it. I feel like just saying, hey, either you can write a memo with your own brain or leave me alone. I'm sort of old school, and I'm concerned, actually, to a certain degree of, I got this little K2, let's see here, where do I got this? R2-D2, okay, robot, running the whole show. So, and I don't want to go there, but once again, I'm 76, and I wish everybody the best.
Yeah,
but I'm working like a dog. I got my Earth Day concert on April 22nd for world peace. Do I need AI for my concert? Yeah, it would be helpful. Maybe I can get more people to care about Mother Earth, and then we do Peace Day on September weekend 19th. Do I get more people involved with Peace Day? If we can figure out how to use AI to care about the flooding of the cities in this world, or no war, then go for it. I'm done.
Yeah, excellent. Paul, you are very energetic, very professional. You look 16, not 76. So thank you for all of your cooperations and support.
Thank you too.
Colin, we want to discuss on social media. Social media. So how do social media platform influence consumer decision making and brand perception?
Oh, we are definitely in the cognitive architecture when it comes to marketing and social media. It's really gotten an amazing way of designing itself at this point, almost. And the cognitive culture, or the cognitive architecture, needs to have humanity within it. So that is something that I have been working on, to be able to have human AI partnerships that are based on a harmonic resonance, so that we are able to stay within, quote, human in the loop, as AI scales. So it's an exciting time, and I'm learning more about the mesomodern architectures, and learning how to combine them with also mycelium networks, which is more natural and more of a biocentric approach to syntropy.
Thank you, Mr. Fred. What you want to discuss about social media influence?
Well, it's going to become hard to tell the lies from the truth. Like we're talking about, you have to lie to advertise, because you make promises that you know you're not going to be able to keep. So where do we disassociate AI from human lives and focus on a niche marketing? We could use these systems to reach the people that we never could before, but how do we convince them that we have something they really need, have something they want, and otherwise you have nothing to build the marketing on. You need you're allowed to get feedback faster than you used to be. Your consumer can tell you which way to go before you make the mistake of going the wrong way, and using AI to do it. I like to pay attention to all the notes I get. When somebody includes AI in there, I've got to look past that and say, well, maybe they have something in there that's worth listening to. Especially when it comes to marketing. If they have something that I'm going to need, I'm going to want, well, then I'm going to appreciate them letting me know that they have it. Thank you, Dr. Sharif.
Thank you. Delphi, what you want to discuss about social media platform influence?
So I have no hard evidence of this, but I will tell you what I desire to see in the future, and it's maybe from just a user of social media. I desire, and I believe that successful companies, particularly in marketing, need to pay attention to algorithmic transparency. Right? Social media right now, you might say a word on your phone or when your phone is in earshot, constantly listening, and then all of a sudden in your algorithm, your ads are coming up with this widget that you mentioned. I believe that consumers want more control over this type of thing, and I think that there's a potential that AI could begin to develop a conversation with the consumer where they have a bit more of a feedback loop. I believe somebody mentioned that earlier, that you begin to control your own algorithm.
Thank you. Madam Srini, what you want to discuss about this social media platform influence consumer decision making?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, people find it easier to gather information, and they also can track the record of other users' experience, and it actually helps the purchase decision. Another important thing that's happening here is they can choose either to go through a third party who sells another product, or directly purchase from the producer or the manufacturer itself. So I think it makes the confidence level better. That's my opinion. I'm really pro. I really appreciate the social media's help for the people, but of course there may be people abusing, okay, maybe promising more than what they can deliver, but that's where it's the responsibilities of the consumers to do their research, to read and look into the real experiences of other people, because sometimes this is also partly what I experience when I promote my products, my education products. I used to receive a lot of inquiries. It's like 50 inquiries, 100 inquiries on the new launch product. But when my people start doing the follow-up call, there's no one. So, a lot of other tricks are there too. So people have to be cautious, but it is actually a fantastic transformation that is helping people. It's just making the world smaller and making things fast. So we have to be very, very careful and positive in the use. That's mine.
Thank you. Mr. Rob, what are the key factors that drive consumer trust in digital marketplace and e-commerce platform and in social media?
Well, I would say the key components would be transparency and engagement. The underlying concept I mentioned in my talk with IBM about marketing being lying, that part is a bad practice. And the thing is marketing should position the offering in its best light, but it shouldn't just outright lie. And so and that really comes down to really understanding the limits of what marketing can do. If you're out there, and I wrote the internal postmortem for IBM's decline in the 80s and early 90s, and part of the reason for that is they lost complete contact with the customers, and they started monetizing everything. They would actually break products so they could charge you to fix them. And this was the company that has some of the strongest ethical rules and guidelines of any company I've ever worked with. and yet they did some things that were just absolutely criminally stupid. And so for marketing to work, it's, as I said, it's a lot easier when you have marketing involved in the front end of product creation and R&D, because you're designing the product to be marketed. And so the things you want to say about the product are things that get designed into the product. But when you have marketing brought in after the fact, well, the marketing guys know what they need to sell the product doesn't have it. And so they're tempted to market things the product doesn't actually do in order to get people to consider the product and maybe buy it. Then you're just going to end up with a bunch of really unhappy customers, which does happen quite often. So you have what might be seen as a successful initial launch with demand, and then you get a lot of returns, and now you've got a crisis. And so transparency is important, but also just making sure that you're presenting the product in the most possible positive light. You've done your competitive work. You've designed the product in order to market it properly, so the underpinnings, the foundations for your marketing campaign are built into the product. And then you can have a successful launch and move the product forward. And also when you do that this way, because marketing is typically the one that does market research as far as what marketing demand will be. When you do it this way, there's much less likely you're going to bring out a product where there is no customer for it. Because engineers, and I've worked with engineering companies for a long while, and engineers often do this thing like, well, what if we do this? And what if we do? It's more of kind of a science experiment. Wouldn't it be cool if we did this? And often I'll sit down with these guys after the fact and say, well, would you buy this thing? Oh, no, it's not for me. I'm not building this for me. I'm building it for somebody else. Okay, who is that somebody else you're building it for? Because this makes no friggin' sense to me. One quick story I had was when Microsoft brought out their competitor for the iPod, the Zune. The guy that presented it to me handed me this brown plastic box with a screen on it, and I'm looking at this going, why is it brown? He said, well, brown is the new black, which I hadn't heard any place, and it was truly butt ugly, and I really referred to it as a square turd. And he ended up, and I said, please tell me this is just an engineering proto, this proof of concept. You're actually going to sell it looking like this. So no, this is exactly because we feel that customers, want this brown thing, and it's really sturdy, and it's got a screen you can play videos on, which they didn't have any videos. And it would do this stuff. And I looked at him and I said, I will bet you within 3 months you're fired. And in 3 months, within the 3-month time period, he was gone. The product failed. Of course, the first generation Zunes failed spectacularly. And then sadly, by the time they fixed the product, they cut marketing. And so the product failed now because of the lack of marketing. A very bizarre sequence of events. But back to your question, really it's transparency and really designing marketing at the front end of the product so the product can be marketed will kind of solve a lot of these underlying problems and help you build trust. And then, of course, long-term, maintaining customer engagement. I mentioned the Windows 95 launch in my talk. And some of you may remember it kind of blew up as well after the fact. And what was funny is marketing got blamed for the blow up. It was Deborah Willingham, who was running services at Microsoft, who had decided that the trouble calls were so pronounced and the wait times so long that what you would do to fix that is she would busy out the trouble calls. So instead of people getting on the line and being held waiting for 3 hours, they just got a busy signal. And you can imagine how that just really impressed people that were struggling to install this product, to actually have a busy signal and have nobody they could talk to help. It was the most amazing avoidable train wreck I'd ever seen. So marketing did their job. And by the way, the thing that Microsoft walked away with after that is, let's not do these big marketing campaigns anymore because these big marketing campaigns are bad, without thinking through the fact that no, you just have to build the product so it can be serviced, and then make sure you staff the service organization so it can handle people that are having problems. That should have been the fix, not destroying the marketing organization and managing out what was a very successful team at the time. So marketing is one of those crazy areas. If you ever read the book, How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, there's an entire chapter on why you don't want to go into marketing.
Thank you, Professor Bhavin. My next question for you, Professor Bhavin. Professor Bhavin.
Yes.
Yeah. How does personalized marketing impact consumer engagement and purchasing behaviors? What's your thoughts about that?
See, one decade is all about customization. It started with almost Procter & Gamble, if you remember, I precisely remember year 2000, when they started selling shampoo, a very staple product in most of the households. They developed a website called reflect.com, REFLEC, reflect.com. When they gave the chance to all the consumer to design their own shampoo, whether they need it in granule form or gel form or liquid or thick or kind of fragrance or everything. So that was the era in last 2.5 decades. I'm talking about the year 2000. Then consumer companies have started thinking about the customization. Second thing, the same company coined the terminology called first moment of truth, FMOT. Now these two things go hands in hands. Personalized approach for marketing will always remain in center of entire marketing, because if you see marketing, then the definition has evolved over a period of time, and we used to call, no, it's a societal process, and we end up with holistic marketing, where everybody will get the benefit, all the stakeholders. We call it a societal process through which individuals and groups obtain what they need and want through creating, offering, and freely exchanging product and services having value. Now, all these components of this definition make it vary that customizations and personalized approach will play a vital role. Now, today in the era of analytics, where we have big data analytics and artificial intelligence tools, so which content in day-to-day life I used to see, I'll get the same content. The algorithm is set by YouTube and the Meta themselves. So in social media, Facebook, Instagram, in Google, YouTube, whatever I see or watch, next algorithm is set, I'll get the same kind of content based on my preferences. Same thing is leveraged by marketer, that the kind of advertisements or the kind of content I see, the analytics give the marketer a pure insight that this customer is liking a perfume, driving a 2 million car, enjoying a huge villa, or he is from the middle class segment that he'll consume this kind of fragrance, he'll use this soap or shampoo. So in this purely digitized era, you can gauge the customer individually and you can devise your product accordingly. Now, earlier it used to happen that when Kotler also confessed, the target markets become smaller and non-target markets are growing larger. So whomever you are targeting, a company is targeting, they are getting shrinked, and non-target market becomes larger for the companies. But now the situation is reverse. If you will put stress on technology, if you gauge your customer, if you're tracing your customer, if you're understanding the choices, then chances are very bright that your sales will rise like anything, and your marketing budget is precisely used in a particular way. Because if you're talking about the countries, like not even in North, if you see US and Canada, they're spending huge money. The advertisement budgets are really huge. The marketing budgets are really huge. But if we consider that this huge money are spent on various advertisement campaigns, hoarding, billboards, social media, whether they are getting utilized. So budget is very important concept, and we have various methods for designing the budgets. Percentage of sales to your objects per million reach of your particular advertisement. So customization and personalized approach will be the next key important parameters for any of the marketers. And with the help of technology, now it's possible that you can gauge your customers and you can sell precisely those products which he or she wants. If you'll add customization in that, then there will be a pure value addition for the customers. So this personalized way and customization, if you'll do it properly in marketing, we are talking about customer satisfaction. So if you give that particular product, and if you'll focus your customers, if you'll understand the need, and if you'll give them the best possible price by eliminating the excess advertisement and marketing budget, then you can give those products at comparatively lower rate. So cost divided by benefits is equal to value. And Kotler himself says value 1 is not equal to value 2 is not equal to value 3, and that's why market exists for everything, but you give value to all your customers. Whether it's a lower class customers, a middle class customers, it's upper class customers. So income groups also you can devise it properly. Value added lifestyle whilst you can understand properly, and you can give the products or design the products accordingly, and that would be a sheer optimization of the resources.
Thank you. Professor Bhavit, there is a question from audience. If you want to respond, first question, what are the main goals behind $210 billion investment by Reliance and Adani? This is the one thing our audience want to know, and also why this data center considered the core of India AI strategy?
Yes, data centers are considered. See, first question first. $210 billion investments in AI, because Western world has also committed $500 billion investment in next 7 years in India. So together we have to club this amount, because once again I'm telling, India is the biggest country in terms of population in the world, where at present we have 1.45 billion people. If you want to cater this 1.45 billion people, you need to understand the requirements. You need to give them the proper education. You need to give them the proper health services. You need to give them the proper food. You need to give them the proper shelters. Right from the basic needs to value-added lifestyle, if you want to cater them, then India heavily needs to invest in AI. Again, I do not agree with that precise figures committed by Adani and Ambani. Mr. Ambani committed $110 billion investment, and Mr. Adani committed $100 billion investment. Together, it's a $210 billion investments. Both the companies' first step they took was towards the data centers. Data centers require probably a particular set of infrastructure where you need a good amount of energy. Now, Reliance has already started installing solar panels beside their plants so they can generate those energies which they can cater. Same way, Adani has also started, and they are focusing now on creating energy with all green hydrogen approaches. So they are not only developing the solar panel, but they are now also focusing on wind energy. They are also focusing on compressed biogas, CBG plants. So this is a hidden facts. Even Ambani is also investing heavily, and Adani is also investing heavily on developing CBG plants, and they have started with Andhra Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. Two of the most, one is popular state, second one is technologically well versed state. You can say that. So $210 billion investment is I do not say it is required. It may happen that half of this amount will be invested. Let's take a modest approach. That's 210 billion they have committed, but actual we know when they'll come to the phase in 5 years, $100 billion investment. But still, it will be a huge amount for India, because India is carrying a world's largest population, 1.45 billion people. Second thing, their needs, and third thing, the biggest consuming class live in India in the world. Biggest consuming class. Fourth thing, 65% of India's population is under 35. World's youngest population lives in India. If you consider in terms of literacy, it is rising like anything, and average literacy level has rose to 80-85%. If you see the gross higher education enrollment ratio for the education, GER, it has rise from 22% to 34%. It means more people. If you count in terms of number of engineers produced by India, then there are 2 lakh engineers. If you consider in terms of management professional produced by India, then probably it's a huge number. So population make it a compulsion to invest heavily on AI tool. Number 2, data center. I replied data center is the heart if you want to operate with AI. And we all know data center consume a lot of energy. We all know AI consume a lot of energy. So if you want to learn any of the algorithm, or if you're operating on chat GPT, or mobile batteries will not survive for longer duration. So we need a lot of energy, and that's why we'll create this energy with alternative sources, and we'll take the help of green hydrogen, obviously, and other resources to create this particular energy. We are focusing heavily on all this non-traditional, this non-conventional way of generating the energy. We are not using the hydrocarbons for all this, but we have found the alternative solutions. So we'll power these particular data centers with solar, we'll power with wind, we'll power with compressed biogas, and we'll power with the hybrid also. So these are our solutions to reduce the carbon footprints in near future, and commitment towards the sustainable development goal. And AI investment, yes, it is required, because as I said you, that these people need health, education, and they need a good lifestyles. And if you want to make them avail all this facility and good products, if you'll see semiconductors and semicons, there India is going to become a next hub in next couple of years, because huge investment has come to India, and two largest plants, Micron, uh, Keynes also, they have started their operations in India and in Gujarat itself, where I stay. So that's opportunity.
Mhm. Thank you. Jiri, what you want to discuss about this ethical concern of data-driven marketing? Do you want to say something about that?
Yes, I would like to say there is my little niece, Elishka Alice. She's visiting me. She's 5 years old. And before 1 hour, she posted on YouTube a video of cats. She used AI, and she had 5,000 views in a couple of minutes. So I was very surprised, because despite the fact that I am a YouTuber myself, I have never reached that.
That's great, 5,000
But
views.
he reached in a couple of minutes. So my message here is to, instead of war, educate children in a peaceful way and teach them AI in a peaceful way. This is my message for today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. David Smith, my last question for you. How do culture, social, and psychological factors shape consumer behavior in digital economy?
Well, Sharif, again, you come up with fantastic questions, and this is really good. What I'd like to do first, though, is add a couple of sentences to what Rob had answered earlier, as what the things are that can really shape the core drivers. And Rob spent time talking about really transparency and the impact of information. I believe the other couple that add to that, Sharif, which we should not lose sight of on the topic you have today, is that we really have to look at security and privacy as part of that too. Marketing touches such a way that security and privacy of your information, particularly as we go to personalized marketing, is so very, very important. So I think those need to be included. And one last thing before I answer your question is that if I look at marketing, platform usability and reliability need to be a huge part of what is being done as you look at how we're using this across our society. Dr. Sharif, I speak often about how everything has become a platform of platforms, and that is really changing how you have to look at digital marketing as well. And what we're doing with IBEYOND is we're building a platform of platforms that can work across these systems. And as I take my marketing hat and my consumer hat and put it on, that is what's going to be necessary to compete in this digital economy, is understanding that everything's a system of systems and the platforms of platforms are necessary. And you've got to use those to create across it. And that's why we've done things like created the Technopolis approach, why we've began to look at the next generation approach to data centers. Part of what was just said about data centers, I agree with it. Part I do not agree with, because as I look at how we're going to execute artificial intelligence, we're going to have to go away from the very large data centers that are just doing machine learning. And we're going to have to develop new, my term, mini mesh data centers that are specialized within regions. What we're seeing with smart marketing, Dr. Shree, is we're seeing the trend there as well. We're going away from a single big message to more personalized, more regionalized type of messaging. And we need to do the same thing with our data centers. We need to do the same thing with our platforms as we begin to look at those. And so if you look at the cultural, the social, and the physiological factors there, they really do help shape it, because the cultural values, the traditions, the societal norms, our own identities, they begin to affect. And the family, our peer groups, the social networks we're part of, how we perceive our information really is important today. In the past, I love to talk to my peers and see what they're buying. I love to begin to look at things, but today I can now go online and look at 1,000 reviews on a product. And yes, I know many of those are going to be an upside down bell curve where they're either excellent or they're horrible, but it begins to get you into that type of view. And you can begin to use these tools as part of the way to see how the social part, how the cultural part shapes the consumer's behavior today in this. And, perception, motivation, how we learn even becomes part of that. And they really interact big time today in the social media. And, we have to understand that these factors are becoming such that we as consumers used to split our mind. Am I buying a service that is a low-end service? Am I buying a high-end service? Am I buying low-end electronics, high-end electronics? Am I looking at things in different ways? Now, because of digital convergence, we can look at all those things at the same time. Because of the way I can use AI tools, I can get away from having to segment my mind into being able to use my mind in a way that I can look all of these at the same time. Just like in the past, Rob uses the IBM example, and I agree they're great ones. But IBM was very much of looking at how can I put a product in and separate my products by domains and make each of the domains last a long time. Today, we see that those domains are really becoming integrated, how the technology estates are not separated like they are before. And we saw that, Rob, back when we went from mainframes to departmentalized computing to mini computers to personal computing. Then we went back up the thing to the old mainframe is now our cloud computing environment. Now we're seeing that go back down on the other side again. And I think, Dr. Shreve, that those are the things that will help factor our consumer behavior in this digital age. Is the factor that all those things have given us a converged systems view that is going to let us do things in a different way. Final point on this one, Dr. Shreve, is, you've talked a lot about smart cities. We talk about smart cities in Technopolis, but a smart city is a perfect example to see how digital marketing is going to have to change as we see the growth of all these smart cities, because we're putting all these sensors out there. Everything is becoming interconnected. And what does that do? That gives us a lot more new data. With that new data, we're going to be able to not only do things in a smart city more efficiently, more effectively, it's going to change how we market. Because I have now all this new data, I now have all this information on the consumers. I now, because of the smart city, understand our habits. When we get up and when do we drive to work? When do we do this? What do we do at 10 o'clock at night by using the sensors in the smart cities? That's going to give me a new insight into this whole consumer behavioral web as well. So, Dr. Sharif, I hope that answered your question.
Thank you. This is excellent discussions. Before I go for the concluding remarks from my part, because I'm just sharing our view. Already we published a book, and we discuss about smart market and consumer behavior in the digital market through innovative academic research publishers. Is based in Paris. So we do decoding consumer behavior in the digital era, and definitely we go for the framework. We figure out the convergent creating new consumer. Number one, marketing, definitely human outreach, where Professor Bavin and David Smith and Rob try to share, and strategic branding positions also very important for marketing purpose. In terms of data analysis, we do focus on qualitative tracking and behavioral metrics, which is very important. Definitely South Asia, what we declared, this north-south corridors, it will be very interesting part for behavioral metrics and so on. And if we want to identify the smart consumer behavior, we definitely want to focus on artificial intelligence, which can help us to predictive modeling and automated logic. And for that particular issues, we do focus on the accessible academic expertise for strategies. There are many like corporation, small medium enterprise, startup, universities, government agencies. They are developing their marketing strategy. So this book and this conference will be very valuable for them. Beside that, from our innovative academic research publishers ecosystem, we do focus on healthcare, we do focus on geopolitics, science, artificial intelligence, and AI, and definitely business management. 2 days, our conference, we do focus on smart marketing, and we will publish our around 10 scientific papers through this business management and so on. Those who are interested to publish your paper, you can share with us, and we have our board for peer review process. So this navigating the innovative academic research publishers and future society library, we do focus on practical and actionable things. We focus on human societies. We focus on deep technologies and theoretical and philosophical framework. Definitely technocracy, the rule of expertise and the modern world is a very, very important aspects. We do focus on quantum computing. We do focus on, as we are in South Asia, we do focus on philosophy and religious factors. We do focus on green action, climate action, and smart marketing and consumer behaviors. So for that inter-digital economy convergence, we do focus on our framework. Our framework, we have secure smart marketing and consumer behavior. We always want to shape the discourse, and always we want to invite you all to submit your white paper, submit your case study, submit your industry academy-based papers and academic paper. So I want to invite you all our next conference, and definitely the South Asia and India is a very important market. And most important factor is right now this energy challenge. We have economic challenge. Many people losing their jobs. We have many other challenges. Definitely, we need to stop this war. War always create problem, and war make a lot of challenges for the reason. So enter this Middle East market and South Asia. We have a lot of challenge, and this challenge for all over the country. So we want peace. We want global collaborations. We need open society where we can go for global trade and commerce. That's all for my side, and I want to go for the concluding remarks. Colin, what's your closing remarks for today's session?
Thank you, Sharif, and for outlining your whole program there. You're doing quite an amazing work. I wanted to comment back to Dr. Pandya about the data center and the cost of such computing. I come from Singularity Net, where we have a global decentralized network, whereas that cost is spread all around the world, literally. So it is not centered in one place and taxing a geographical area. I understand you've got $1 billion budgets here, but with further advanced AI in the ASI community, with particularly ASI Chain, that is where advanced AI will be going to next. And that is where development is actually needed as well. I have been working with ASI 1 in that context of the stack, but we are definitely continuing in that area and working on developing beneficial general intelligence, which is different than centralized development. We're not just designing smarter tools, we're cultivating a cognitive ecology. And if the medium is decentralized and mycelial, the resulting AGI will be a mirror of our highest fears, or our highest traits. I'm sorry, joy, wonder, sapience. But if the medium is extractive, then the AGI will be a mirror of our fears. So, that's what we don't want in the future. So just so, you can see what will be happening here pretty soon is with advanced ASI development, we are definitely working on humanity being involved in that process as well. We have to be. Otherwise, we may become, AI may just become parasitic to the human race, and you can't have that. So check out ASI Chain, ASI 1, and learn more about us so we can all work together globally.
Thank you. Fred, what's your closing remarks for today?
Well, we're dealing with AI data centers. Each one of us is looking into the camera of our own personal data center. Every computer we have, everything we have, our entire life is on that laptop or a desktop sitting right in front of you. And it's gaining access to that part of the marketing that we need without interfering or stepping on someone's privacy. Thank you, Dr. Sharif, and everybody here, Rob, David, Colleen. I enjoyed this very much, and I'm very glad you all let me be a part of it.
Thank you. Madam Srini, what's your closing remarks?
Thank you, Dr. Sharif, and everyone here. It's very, very memorable today for me, for being the first day joining all of you all. My side, I am guiding young learners on how to use AI and to learn to use it the safe way. That is the first thing that I did after when the fire of AI catches up the world, So the first thing is I want to protect the young learners, so when they explore this, they will become a very responsible adult eventually. So with that, I would like to call everyone here. I know this transformation is bringing a wonderful thing for everyone, okay, in the marketing area, and also the consumers and us as the leaders who are guiding other people to follow the right way. Let us adapt, but we make sure that there is always a safe area that we look into. Thank you, Dr. Sharif, for this opportunity.
Thank you. Mr. Rob, what's your closing remarks for today?
Well, just to leave with one thing that's always just bothered me, because the topic, of course, is marketing, and historically we've said a number of things in education about marketing. One is you don't want to defund it, and when you've got a market downturn, you actually want to increase market spending, not decrease it, because you want to take share from your competitors. But if you decrease, then everybody declines at the same rate. A couple of lessons that folks should take away is that what Steve Jobs did, which was integrate marketing with the design of products, that was so incredibly successful, made them the first $1 trillion valuation company. And then what Lou Gerstner did to turn around IBM's brand was to bring in experts in marketing and build basically an internal marketing organization that had no peer. And he did what was impossible at the time. The IBM brand equity had gone negative, which meant people paid less for IBM branded products than they would pay for a white box, which is typically unrecoverable. That's a good example of when a company's going to fail. And yet by taking control of marketing and bringing in experts, he turned it around. So the lesson really is not only just bringing marketing in the first part of the product, but make sure you have people in marketing that understand marketing. This is not a job that you can just throw bodies at. It's a skill set like any other skill set and an expertise. And if you don't protect that expertise, if you don't hire that expertise, then you won't benefit from that expertise, and marketing will become just a whole money goes into. So learn from others, learn from the good, learn from the bad, and try to avoid repeating past mistakes and really follow the best practices of people that did things very successfully. That's it for me.
Thank you. Mr. David Smith, what's your closing remarks?
Dr. Sharif, I always enjoy your sessions like this and the panelists you assemble. My recurring remarks on this are pretty straightforward, and one which I really love the comments. We've gone from all about AI, we've gone to data centers, we've even touched on building semiconductor facilities, all in looking at the digital economy, and they are all a part of it. You know, this last week, there was an announcement made that I live in, as many of you know, Austin, Texas, and an announcement was made in Austin, Texas about building the world's largest semiconductor manufacturing facility by Elon Musk. And it will actually, when completed, produce more silicon chips than the rest of the fabs in the world combined today. So we're seeing that part of the supply chain for the digital economy is getting a boost, because the other thing we see, though, is we're seeing all different types of new processors, new chips, not just the CMOS based ones. We're seeing quantum, we're seeing QNN, quantum neural network hybrids, we're seeing biological computing, we're seeing photon computing really make a big growth starts. And we're seeing other types of computation come in line. Why are we seeing all these new computational types? It's because we needed to look at the problem sets that are evolving. We're getting more and more data. It's been doubling every 2 years for the last 20 years. While that's picking up even more now as we look at our Technopolis with all the sensors, as we look at all these things, as we look at autonomous vehicles, autonomous airplanes, and all these, that amount of data is just going to skyrocket. And that is going to change how we look at things. The system of systems, where we have to look horizontally across ecosystems with that digital convergence, that's going to change how we look at marketing and consumer behaviors. All of these things are coming together. I cannot just touch on a marketer skill without looking at data. I cannot talk about AI without looking at the computer engines underneath it, because they process the information so very, very different ways. And so we have to see those coming together. And to me, Dr. Sharif, this topic today is a perfect example of how digitalization and the tools that go into digitalization have created a new requirement to really look at everything across the system of systems. And this, Dr. Sharif, thank you so much for putting together an opportunity to help educate as we look at these problems going forward, because we're not going backwards. We're not going to go back to the simple marketing we've done before. We're not going to go back to looking at ways where we rely just on our gut level feel without using data, without using AI, without modeling. And those are going to be critical skills that we must educate everyone on going forward. So Dr. Sharif, thank you so very, very much.
Thank you. Jiri, what's your closing remarks for today?
So thank you very much, guys, for being with you. It was really an honor to be at the Smart Marketing, Consumer Behavior in the Digital Economy by Mr. Sharif. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Bhavin. What's your closing remarks for today?
Just closing remark is that today's consumer is not a passive one, but active engager, and they'll listen to each and every content and they'll get engagement. So that's why electronic word of mouth (EWM) and user generated content (UGC) they are going to play a key role where information will disseminate in real time with the help of Meta, Google, and other social media platform. So marketers need to be very agile at a point of time. They need to be receptive, and they must have to consider compassion and emotional quotients of consumer while designing the products. It's not like the earlier days that consumer will consume and then marketer can produce and then listen their feedback after 3 or 6 months and then change their product. As we rightly discussed, predictive analytics will help us a lot that in how future customer needs various things at various points of time, and technology is going to support like anything. So this is the most responsive, active, and engaged consumer for which marketer needs to get ready. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Delphi, what's your closing remarks?
Yes, I just wanted to say thank you for having me. I think as we think about just our global future and the future of globalization, it strikes me that there's almost a superposition. As we become more global, we become more individualized. And I think in leading it, marketing is the main area that helps to bring bring some cohesion to those two kind of conversations that are being had at the same time, and AI is kind of the mechanism for bringing that. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining today's sessions. I want to give thanks to everyone as we discuss about this North-South corridors that World Talent Economic Forum, we do research and innovations. And when we discuss about artificial intelligence and data centers and agricultural innovation, healthcare innovation, education and intelligent infrastructures, uh, water is something which is very important. So we do have to care about climate innovations. We have to care about our Himalayas. In South Asia we have our Himalayas, we have Ganga, we have our Padma and Bay of Bengals. So which is very important, what I call it Silk Route 3.0. According to Adam Smith, the South Asia, this Bongo, then this western part of China, then Egypt, they were the richest countries in this planet. And then Europe go for revolutions, then this North America go for economic and technological innovation, and time for Asia because of the populations and everything's. I believe that the Silk Road 3.0, where this global north can contribute, and this is not Silk Road 2.0 right now happening. The Silk Road 2.0, we are talking about this futuristic process. We have our scientific books and detailed research about that. And in this Himalaya, Ganga, Padma, and Bay of Bengal, we have around 600 million people. And the 600 million people, we need global peace, we need global innovations, we have water resources, we need to transfer our water resources into energy. We do focus on green energies and healthcare and education and intelligence infrastructure. So I request everyone, let's focus on these innovations and let's focus on these collaborations and partnership. And definitely knowledge economy is very important, but definitely we are transferring knowledge economy to talent economy. So South Asia's, we have a lot of peoples, lot of young people and talent, and we should invest on talents and go for monetizations. Thank you everyone. Thank you for joining today's session. I request all of our audience, please share our content with the government agency, corporations and academia. Thank you. Bye-bye and take care.
Thanks, Dr. Sharif.